Hello. Time for reflection on a Saturday, I think, isn't it? Our government is not doing its job. And where does the problem occur? I think you could identify the problem as being Boris. I think that's reasonable. But it's not Boris as Prime Minister, it's Boris as Foreign Secretary. He set the tone when he besmirched Nazanin Ratcliffe as Foreign Secretary. Maybe he was distracted by other things that were going on in his office, but he never managed to recover, and he left it to Liz Truss to pick up the pieces. And that whole story and the idea that we owed money to Iran, if we owed money to Iran, we should have paid it then. And the idea that Liz Truss can see this as a feather in her hat, that Mrs. Radcliffe was finally restored to us, is nonsensical. Liz Truss has a credibility issue. The fact that she is accused by Lavrov of being bellicose and that he doesn't take her seriously means that she cannot do her job. So at the moment, she should be talking to Russia about the men in captivity and those facing the death sentence. But she can't because Lavrov won't talk to her. She has no credibility. The only solution is for her to be replaced. Foreign secretaries should be talking. Whether there's a war going on or not, we're not officially at war with Russia. We should be talking. And then let's look further. What is she doing now? She's doing nothing. Nothing, and not very well. She's now posturing to China. For goodness sake! For goodness sake! Her posturing doesn't work. We saw how useless that was when she tried posturing in front of Lavrov. And today she seems to be hiding behind the same sofa that Boris smeared. And as for sleaze, we've had it in bucketfuls. Think of Matt Hancock stacking the stationery cupboard with Gina Coladangelo. Ooh, Gina. Think of the other day, the fellow now presumably blackballed by the Carlton Club for groping members. Think of the dodgy man watching dodgy videos in the Chamber of the Commons itself. Or the coward hiding in anonymity while serious charges of inappropriate behaviour are being investigated, and at the same time he is theoretically, or she is theoretically, representing his constituents as an MP. This is madness, and it calls into question exactly what we think an honourable member must be. And I make no reference here to what Carrie thinks an honourable upstanding member must be. We've got to the point where we are pandering to or pleasing the boss or pleasuring the boss. This is not the way to lead our society. The only requisite for ministerial office is to do the job effectively. Hancock failed, Williamson failed and failed and failed, Raab failed, Truss is a train wreck, Shapps, is it Shapps? The so-called Minister for Transport is failing. Patel is a disaster, and Doris cannot even seem to read her own mail or master her own briefs. We have to have a different approach to public office. And if we cannot get a different approach to public office, then maybe we need to reset the whole system. It's not simply a matter of a general election. It's not simply a matter of a cabinet reshuffle. It's about rethinking what responsibility means, and our whole society is drifting into a morass where we are controlled by the last person who shouts, by the person who shouts loudest. I saw this when I lived in Greece, when I lived in Russia. And in a way, those societies had an excuse. Both of them had, within living memory, experienced a dictatorship. We have not. How have we got into this position? And Greece has pulled itself up from that. And Russia is, of course, in the middle of a war. How have we got into this position? And how do we get out of it? We get out of it by taking responsibility.